For you to have OCD, according to the standardized manual, there must be obsessions. That means you're hyperfixated on something from your thoughts, and obsession has everything to do with thought. Then there's compulsion, which is the action. So beyond thinking something bad would happen, beyond expecting tragedy, you actually take action towards it, and it's repeated. Yeah. And if we do not stop the cycle of repeat, you end up obsessing, and then becomes a delusion and worsens.
For trauma, you cannot just want to wear it as something to really walk around.
It's not a badge.
It's not a badge.
Yeah.
That's number one. Because if you've gone through trauma, it's painful. And that is why we cannot reduce it to just, it's my trauma.
Yeah. Grief has been misunderstood to only mean loss of somebody. Grief is even that process of letting go of trust. Yeah. Grief is that process of admitting, niligongewa bana. You know? So,
or probably you got a transfer.
And you just got a transfer in the middle
from
of
here to Garissa.
Imagine.
You cannot put this diagnosis like OCD, depression, anxiety, and just maybe work with them like labels.
Yes.
We cannot equate every struggle to a diagnosis.
Yeah.
Because I'm going through some marital challenge, I'm going through some financial issues, all of a sudden it's trauma or it's something. And it's just a distress. It's a change. I'm adjusting to something.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tabingeru.
And I'm Dr. Lynette Kendi.
Ever wondered what it felt like if your inner thoughts were tabled and addressed from a place of warmth? Welcome to the Garden of Minds,
where thoughts take root and rise.
Hello, my name is Valentine Waiguru.
Hi, Dr. Lynette Kendi.
And I'm the ever lovely Tabingeru. Welcome to the Garden of Minds,
where thoughts take root and rise.
Today, I am so happy to be here. I am usually behind the camera, behind the lenses, but as an avid doom scroller, that is a problem because each and every time I go on social media, I diagnose myself with 5 mental disorders.
Can I hear them? What have you
so
done?
I'm just scrolling, then I find a video. It's like 5 signs you have ADHD. And I relate to like all 5 of them. Then I go to another one. 5 signs I have OCD. I relate to them. Then I go to another one. You might be having anxiety.
And them, you have anxiety.
Maybe. But when should I seek for help?
Yeah.
Like, how do I know when I need to actually get help? Because probably like I'll just be sitting there, then I'm not paying attention to something maybe Doc is saying. Then I'm like, it's my ADHD brain.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a common phrase, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I just want to know like what's normal, what's not normal, what is right on TikTok, on socials, and what is not right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I am happy to be here with professionals.
Thank you,
I
V.
want to get help. Yeah.
Thank you, V. And I think it's a worthwhile topic because I feel like in the 21st century, most people have actually maybe underscored or maybe put on less weight on mental health disorders that actually are of concern. And you find that most people will not even seek help because they go to social media and they find a list of symptoms. And sometimes probably you don't have all that because being distracted.
True.
Does that mean that you have ADHD, Tabi?
I was just distracted 5 seconds ago.
Feeling worried over unpaid bills.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I am anxious per se? So maybe Tabi, you could tell us because I know young people, you are the culprits. Let me say.
Why did you change from we? It's we. but to be honest, I'm glad that we're having the trend versus diagnosis conversation today. And this episode of Garden of Minds is specifically aimed for that, you know? Let us see what is the reality versus what has been romanticized. Yeah, I feel like as we have changed, as situations have, as mental health awareness has grown, so has the tendency for the wrong information to be out there. Yeah. So I always advocate for pruning the noise and understanding the real truth behind what a diagnosis is and what the trend might be. And the worst part is that once you make it yours, why are you making it yours? It belongs to DSM-5. Okay, that's a joke that would probably. So DSM-5 is the manual, the statistical, Kizungu, statistical manual for diagnosing mental, it's a fifth edition of diagnostic manual that we use to see the criteria in which we can be able to say, okay, sawa, uko na anxiety, or okay, you have ADHD. It's standardized, it's used all over the world. Therefore, TikTok might not be the best moderator, yeah? And there's so many symptoms, there's so many diseases that right now they're cool to have. Because I guess if you have ADHD, it might make sense for you not to pay attention in class and you'll just be like, oh, I have an ADHD brain, right? But it's beyond that. I want you to imagine that this is a condition that people are born with and they tend to live with, majority of the times untreated. Therefore, I would like us to debunk what that is. Yeah.
So V, you asked a very important question. When should I seek help?
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm looking at this person who's having OCD symptoms that sometimes can be quite distressing. Because the thing is the compulsive nature of whatever that you're feeling. And you see now, the moment that those symptoms, the repeated behavior, the washing probably, and the rest. So that's the moment that you seek help. When those symptoms are distressing, they are causing you harm, and you're not able to do your day-to-day functioning well. You're getting me, V?
So, Dr. Afi, what are some of these symptoms?
So some of these symptoms, of course, you hear that people, like right now, you see, like for me, I could be fixated on how this serviette, whatever is placed here on this table. So I would want to change it. Yeah. You're getting me?
She changed it 5 times.
She actually just changed it.
I have actually changed it. You see, I could be even looking at that door and thinking that door is not closed, locked very well. Yeah. So I will keep on checking it. I will actually even open the door, close it, keep checking again. And so it's that repetitive behavior. For example, I wash this room right now. So does that mean that the room is not clean? No. Person with OCD will come now and begin now scrutinizing the nitty-gritties, wash again, and repeat the same behavior. And that is where now we say that this one is problematic.
It's problematic when there is impairment of function. Yes. Yeah. So like, imagine a situation, as she said, you're supposed to be leaving to go home. But because you have an obsession with cleaning this office, you clean it 5 times, you're late to go home. Now you're late to get to your kids, for instance, or to your partner. You get home again, there's another routine you must do so many times. And these conditions are not unique, they're not like, there's nobody who is immune to them. So you cannot necessarily say specific type of people are the ones who have these problems. It could even affect doctors. It could affect anybody in any career, okay? Yeah. So you find there's this movie, I think it's called New Amsterdam, I don't remember where. There was a doctor who would consistently wash their hands, and they have to wash it a specific number of times. Yeah. And they believe if they do not wash it at those number of times, the patient on the table is gonna die. So majority of them are rooted at times in traumatic experiences, and they are fathered by the belief that there is something spiritual or there's a bigger consequence, yeah? So I want you to understand, for you to have OCD, according to the standardized manual, there must be obsessions. That means you're hyperfixated on something from your thoughts, and obsession has everything to do with thought. Then there's compulsion, which is the action. So beyond thinking something bad would happen, beyond expecting tragedy, you actually take action towards it, and it's repeated. Yeah. And if we do not stop the cycle of repeat, you end up obsessing, and then becomes a delusion and worsens into any other condition.
Tabi, when we talk about now the washing, the other day I had a patient here. And because of that belief that they wash their body and it's not clean, you can imagine now they have a skin condition because of that excessive.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The skin very rough. Because now he believes that he's washed himself is not clean. So he goes to
Doc,
the bathroom.
Is it the
multiple
same?
times.
Is it the same for people who shower 3 times a day?
It's not. It is not the same because that one, of course, there is a foundation to it. At the end of the day, why am I doing that?
Fuchs.
You see, why am I doing it? Yes. So for me, it's, I want to stay clean.
Okay.
You're getting me.
Yeah.
But for this other person, no, I'm still dirty.
Yeah.
I want to still.
The concept of the
And
obsession.
you see now the problem is it's causing you bodily harm. And yet you continue doing that irrespective of the harm that is causing you.
So there was this video on TikTok of some girls dancing in a concert. Then one of them did not have like the skirt. You know, that line ya katikati ya skirt was not at the center. Then someone on the comment section is like, "Ati, oh my God, my OCD inanisumbua kwa sababu ya the way that skirt is not hapo."
Yeah.
So is that OCD really?
No, that's just pattern recognition. Probably they grew up in an environment where their skirts, the slits, they had to be ironed perfectly. Chonjuri will give you a quick snap if it's not well done. And they end up having the idea of always recognizing patterns, yeah? So that's not the same thing as having OCD. For OCD to be there, as we said, at standard, there must be heavy impairment of function. It might be, for instance, you miss work, or your work is being affected, or your family, or even your own health, as Dr. Kendi just highlighted. So you liking something in a particular order is just...
Does not mean I have OCD.
Yeah, Gestalt would say it's just normal. There's a law of organization that our head has, yeah? So for instance, imagine if you were to see a football. A football has... Itangwa ni octagon ama ni pentagon. So it has like a certain shape, yeah? The only reason why you're able to see it as circular and not be able to see a coca shape is because your brain is used to a pattern of recognition. Otherwise, if you just look at that black pattern, it's different and it does not in any way communicate as fear. But if you're hyperfixated on seeing a pentagon, even when you see a football, you're going to see that specific shape. Yeah. So I think majority of times that's what people really notice. I have a tendency where I use a lot of sanitizer in my every environment. If I get into hospital, I use sanitizer on my hands. If I leave, someone will be like, "Oh, you have OCD." No, I'm just avoiding germs. Yeah.
This feels good to know. So clearly I do not have OCD.
Yeah.
And there is also another thing that's off my chest, at least. Trauma.
Yeah.
There is a big trauma conversation going on.
Yeah.
Oh, this one traumatized me. Oh, I act like this because of my trauma. What do you have to say about that, Abby?
Let Doc take first.
So this one reminds me about a patient I saw a few days ago. And because I think she's gone through a lot of marital distress. So the person who sent her felt that this person probably, because of the anger outbursts, the violence and everything, maybe it's related to that trauma. So for me, I usually say that for trauma, you cannot just want to wear it as something to really walk around.
It's not a badge.
It's not a badge.
Yeah. That's
number one. Because if you've gone through trauma, it's painful. And that is why we cannot reduce it to just, it's my trauma.
Yeah.
So, like this lady now, in a marriage for 5 years that has been having its ups and downs. So sometimes it can change your personality in a way, not change who you are, but change the way you begin to do things.
Yeah.
And that is why now you see the erratic behavior that now this girl begins to exhibit. And she knows that this is not me. And so that's the trauma conversation, because I feel like most of us, we are walking around with a lot of things that have happened to us, probably in childhood, in adulthood. But sometimes now, because trauma now teaches us to keep silent, that is where the problem is. So we are not able to voice what we are actually feeling. That's it.
There's a huge distinction between distress and trauma. Okay. As I said, we're in a world where we are hyper-connected. That means within the button, I can be able to access a friend group who has survived us or the survivors of an earthquake, etc. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So when majority of people say, "Oh, that has traumatized me," well, it is true. Distress can come from so many other perspectives. But what is considered trauma in a diagnostic capacity must have recurrent effect, okay? As we said, the standard for any diagnosis to happen, for us to say you are traumatized, for us to say you have, what they're trying to communicate is PTSD. post-traumatic stress disorder. But for us to actually give you that diagnosis, we have to see quantum time of experiences or flashbacks of that situation. And on top of that, it has to, again, impair your function. So that relationship that taught you not to trust again caused you distress, but necessarily not PTSD. So that is just like the outlook of how it is.
So on that PTSD conversation, Tabby, sorry, the other day I had another client of mine who came in. So he's been working next to the embassy. It's not right inside the embassy, but their work, of course, they've been exposed to those traumatic incidences. And you can see those, the whatever, when they blow those bombs and whatever explosions. So now he recently now began to experience nightmares. He's not in the workplace currently, but he is home, but he's always triggered by slight noise. Noisy
That's
kidogo
also
tu
the
hivi.
other word.
You see,
Triggered. Triggered.
I feel triggered. Yes. So for him, actually, it's actual distress because number one, he's not able to sleep well. He's having these nightmares. He's a bit angry than usual. The wife could actually narrate that.
So there's irritability.
There's irritability. And that's why now we are saying the trauma conversation, we have to put it into perspective because what has that trauma cost me at the end of the day? What am I going through? And the way Tabi is saying that there is a number of things that we look at. By the time now we come to diagnose you, because different kinds of trauma can actually cause you different things in terms of condition, maybe anxiety, PTSD, and others.
So some things are just learning. Okay, I want you to understand that when we come into this world, we have an empty canvas. So the brain is as white as the wall behind me. And every day we are layered by something different. And we call this schema. So the first day you undergo mistrust. Let's say, I don't know, I enjoy some of this content where kids are told by their dads, let's go and beat mommy. And then they beat mommy and then daddy runs and closes the door. So the child is left with mommy, angry mommy who was trying to catch a break. And the child learns mistrust right from that specific place. So now you'll find that as they grow up, there are some games they don't want to play. There's some things they will not engage in. They don't want to play. Is it Ding Dong Dash? They don't want to play those certain games because they think the person who they should be trusting is going to abandon them. So that creates another level. They come a new information uploaded to your hard drive. Now there's a file that says, okay, that day it didn't end funny. Mommy beat me with sleepers. On and on and on. So what majority of people describe on social media as trauma can at times just be distress or schemata being updated. Not necessarily.
What is schemata?
Schemata, as I said, is a file in our brain. Okay. So schema is unaona venye tunaitanga episode kwa series episode. Okay. Now in our brain, an episode is called schema. And every day it's updated with new information until it brings who you are right now. So for instance, when I also saw another post where someone said, I miss the innocence I had when I was 12 years old. That's one thing that adulting did not prepare them for. And I was like, someone is trying to bring out the schema conversation without actually understanding what that is. So when you're 12, there's so many things you don't know about the world. And then you come into the world and you start realizing, wow, there's a bit of nitty-gritties here. There's heartbreak. There is work. There etc. And so that update is what at times causes distress. And I'm sure when you've seen that, actually traumatized, it's always about things that are common experiences for many people. But the distinction comes when there is, as Dr. Kendi said, there's exposure to events that alter the way your brain chemistry moves on.
So V and Tabi, so it's not every struggle that actually equates to a diagnosis.
That's it. Yes.
We cannot equate every struggle to a diagnosis. Because I'm going through some marital challenge, I'm going through some financial issues, all of a sudden it's trauma or it's something. And it's just a distress. It's a change. I'm adjusting to something. Yes.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. I think because there's a lot of influx of the healing conversation, and I mean it in the best way. I'm glad that mental health is getting some conversations after a very long time of it being shunned away. But at times they don't happen in the best contexts. Yeah. So everybody's trying to monetize healing workshop about trauma, childhood trauma, etc. And we
Mental
forget
coaches.
that we are individuals who grew up in a certain ecosystem and a certain culture. Okay. So when majority of us were not accustomed to cheese, there are people who are accustomed to cheese in other cultures. Yeah. So it's like we all grew up with a certain background, and at times the African background can be difficult. And that's why psychology and psychiatry is based on cultural backgrounds as well. Sindio? Yeah. So as we grow, even nilikuwa nasema about the schemata, hiyo kutoa information na kuweka nyingine, the brain is resistant. Haipendi kazi hata hiyo. So your resistance is what causes what we call the accommodation struggle. And at times,
what's that?
The accommodation struggle is that, ni kama today you get a new role. And you're moving into that new role. And at times it looks like it's easy for you to adapt into that new role. But you go there and you realize they no longer write reports with their hands. They type them every 5 minutes. So your body will struggle to always remember, I need to type this. I don't need to write this down. Yeah. And that's what happens with your brain as well. Every new experience will either change you. You will learn or unlearn something. And at times that process of unlearning is painful. At times it elicits grief. And as I always said, grief has been misunderstood to only mean loss of somebody. Grief is even that process of letting go of trust. Yeah. Grief is that process of admitting, niligongewa bana. So
or probably you got a transfer.
And you just got a transfer in the middle
from
of
here to Garissa.
Imagine. And all of a sudden you have come from Limuru, -10. Now you have gone to a place where you're only sweating every 5 minutes. So grief is a lot of things. And when people do not adapt well or accommodate well grief, it becomes distress. But distress does not equal trauma, which equals PTSD. Yeah. So I hope I've debunked that. So ulikuwa na OCD? Ulikuwa na PTSD? ADHD. Hatujafika hapo.
Bado hatujafika.
Na bado kuna
OCD.
So zote ziko na D.
So every time I get distracted, does that mean I have ADHD? Wacha tufike hapo kwa ADHD. Yeah.
Chadoka anje.
Leo tuna break it down. Leo tuna break it down pole
But let me ask you, V. See, every one of us, we can be distracted. But that one does not equate to ADHD per se. Because I believe that Tabi can actually maybe take us through, because that's her area. And I feel like a lot of people actually have misunderstood ADHD.
Yeah.
Because what we are calling actually that distraction could be a mood disorder. And we want to call it ADHD.
Yes.
And that is why many people have ended up being diagnosed with ADHD, who have bipolar mood disorder. They have other personality disorders. And yet we are calling it ADHD. And so we are not looking at symptoms in isolation, like I'm distracted, and then we equate it to something.
Let me just tell you the video yenye iliniambia niko na ADHD.
Science zilikuwa?
Haikuwa na science, iko imeandika science. So this girl alikuwa anaandika, no, she was mopping. Then kidogo akachukua simu, akaacha mop hapo. Then kidogo akaenda kwa bedroom, akaanza kutandika kitanda. It got halfway, akaacha hapo. Akatoka akakumbuka she was mopping, akarudi to the mopping. Then kidogo mlango ikalia, akaenda. So like she never completed any of the tasks. Then like this happens a lot for me too. Like I'll just be scrolling, then maybe I was doing something, nisahau what I was doing on my phone. Niende, I go to the washroom, niseme like, oh, I need to actually wipe this. Niende mop, nisahau. Like I was getting the mop kwenda ku mop the bathroom.
Yeah.
I start so many tasks. So like that's how I diagnose myself with ADHD. An ADHD girl.
Yeah. Clock it.
An ADHD girl.
Come on. Anyway, whatever happens, I think there was one time on social media handles, we did the ADHD, 5 signs that you have ADHD as a neurodiversity specialist. And then I told them, well, I'm not going to tell you that, because anytime you see a professional, they're not going to give you automatic signs that you have ADHD. Even though the criteria suggests and tells us this is what has to be established before, we also get to see an intertwine between what the symptoms are and how it impacts your day-to-day life, your functionality, your identity, all those together. I want you to understand that ADHD is a neurodevelopmental condition. That means that this condition does not start from nowhere. It has like stages. And majority of the time, it starts right from birth. Okay, so that's why whenever you come in and you're getting an assessment for ADHD, we go back to when you were a little kid. Did you used to lose?
DCI job.
Yes, ni kazi ya day tunachimbua makaburi.
It's not something I can develop in adulthood.
It's very almost impossible for you to just develop it out from nowhere. At least that's what research says, yeah? Okay. So we always go back right from, how was your behavior in the classroom? Could you sit down and allow yourself to sit and not want to go and sharpen the pencil? Or are you the ambassador of the dustbin where the classroom used to be? Or are you the kind of person, the opening day, you have taken you to school with new shoes, when we return, one is Samuel's, one is Njoki's. You know, like, those are the kind of things we will inquire. Why? Because that disorganization starts from very early on. I want you to understand that it is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That means there is quorum that has to be met on the attentional side and on the hyperactivity side. So at times people have only the attentional issues, and people have combined issues, but very rarely do they only have the hyperactive side. So what people really think is ADHD, at times it's just disorganization. At times it's just nervous system dysregulation, which brings us down to a mood disorder, where you are unable to encode enough information. Kujambia, I was writing. Let me finish writing, and then I go and serve food. So you go and serve food, and then you forget to do something. And majority of times, we also see it in other mood disorders, as Doc said, with bipolar mood disorder. Okay? So we're not saying you have bipolar, you don't have ADHD, you have bipolar. But we're saying that it is not sufficient for you to see yourself run through many tasks with disorganization and then say, niko na ADHD. And I am allowed to be like this because like maybe you have memory problems, you know? So, and memory challenges are things that can be solved by playing Sudoku, etc. So at times that's just where the intertwine is. And again, where is the impairment coming in? Is it your personality? Because there are personality clusters, and in these personality clusters, people do different things. There are people who cannot be able to sit down and fold clothes without watching a movie, or they can't even eat without watching a movie. You see? And that is not ADHD.
Yeah. So what about this trend, Tabi, where people will come now, they have self-diagnosed themselves. They'll come and tell you, Daktari, I think for them now, they are just coming to... Actually, some of them, they come and ask...
From social media, such nenda ChatGPT.
Yes.
Yeah, nenda nambia ChatGPT, oh, I feel this and this and this. Already I have a diagnosis. Yes. So by the time I'm coming, like, sometimes
already
they won't come.
Bias. Yeah. And so that means that professional will not assist you. Because already you've come with a preformed kind of mind. I have ADHD.
I have a chat client. You know, like I have to consolidate the fact that I'm competing with AI.
And Tabi, those are the most difficult clients to work with, because the moment you try to ask them questions, they will block. Yeah. They will not tell you the truth. And let me tell you, how are we able to make an accurate diagnosis is when you're honest about what you're going through. It's not the symptoms as a chat.
Actually,
symptoms zenye umeona kwa social media.
How right is chat? According to you, the professionals, how right is chat? And can chat replace a therapist?
Okay. So can chat replace the perspective of a therapist?
Yeah.
I would say no. There's nowhere where AI can replace the professional opinion, because at the end of the day, even if chat tells you, okay, you have cancer, are you going to sit through cancer with chat? Of course not. You want to go to see an oncologist, and you'll want to get through chemo, radiotherapy, etc. So I always say we have moved, and I'm not going to be the person who says let's not move with the trend. Okay?
Yeah.
If 1986 people had not adopted computers, we'll never be where we are right now. Those who refuse to adopt computers were wiped out. So Charles Darwin is going to be right again, isn't it?
True.
And now with the advent of AI, we have to embrace AI. I agree, but to what extent? I want you to understand that AI is a reflective journal, one of it, okay? So it has a tendency to reflect back. Before it criticizes, it will use facts and it will measure, what is the perspective that would sound nicer to you. So AI can be very useful, but as a metacognitive tool. Because what it does is that it masses itself as a third party that does not know you. And then tells you, based on its intelligence, this is right and this is what is wrong. And metacognition is an amazing skill once people learn it in terms of mental health. But when you want it to replace third-party perspective of somebody who is supposed to know you, that is where the difference is.
Yeah.
A doctor
so that is now where we are talking about real-time human conversations.
And human beings are social beings. Try staying in. Why was COVID hard for us? Why was it so difficult? It's because they took away something we had never known we can't exist without.
Yeah.
Being told you have to stay in your house, you can't go to the supermarket, you have to be back by... And even when they began loosening it, 10 p.m. was still not enough. We felt like we wanted to stay longer.
You can't even sit close to someone.
Yeah.
You can't
say
hug.
hi. We were in gloves. We were in,
Masks.
it was high isolation.
Crazy.
And mental health went to the pit during that time. And the reason why it did is because human beings are wired to be social beings. There's a reason why even when children live at a young age, they learn how to speak when they're playing with their peers. If your child is staying at home peke yake, they will have speech delay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was how we are wired. We have a window, and if people read a bit about people like Piaget, Noam Chomsky, who used to speak about stages of development, they will understand that human beings cannot live in isolation. Therefore, AI will do a good job. We're actually happy there is AI. At least there's information out there. But if you think it's going to replace the opinion of a person who has lived experience, then automatically
it can't. And actually, we are not here to discredit what AI can do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's why many people will continue to struggle with mental health issues. Because number one, remember, some of them, when you ask them, come back for a consultation, come back for a review, they will not.
Yeah. And how confidential is AI, doc?
It's not.
Let's be honest.
It's not. And that is why
our data is being shared.
Most people now will abandon the therapy that is actually a treatment.
Yes.
Actually do feel
they will now go to now AI, and it will show them other things. When you're supposed to be on real-time medication, you decide, okay, AI is my doctor. My doctor does not know anything per se, so I will disregard medication, I will disregard therapy, and that's how you struggle. 10 years in the same thing that actually could have been handled in maybe 6 months or so.
I want people to remember.
And that is why now you see, when we're talking about this thing of healing will take time because of those things. And again, when you're talking about human conversations, we cannot heal in isolation. You see? So because now this social media, inatufanya, we will just want to be isolated. We don't want to now have that human connection with people, with professionals, with support system, actually.
Lakini doc, unaona, there is a problem kwa sababu like I know we have like this trend in mental health awareness, lakini bado kuna that stigma behind it. So it's easier for me kuenda kuuliza chat than kuanza kutafuta therapist kwa sababu like watu wanafikiria every time I go see a psych, I am crazy.
No.
Yeah.
V, what is AI in full?
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial. Food for thought. I'll leave it at that. As I was saying,
artificial.
Artificial. If my English serves me right, artificial is almost
artificial.
Not real. Yes. So,
but it's not comfortable.
It sounds comfortable because healing is uncomfortable. Speaking to people is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
ChatGPT will make you feel like you're still in your cocoon, and you will not leave that cocoon. At times you need to be pushed. At times you need to be told, leave that relationship by a human being for you to get it. At times you need to be told, achana na bangi. Kwanza with a very very stern face, achana na bangi. So that is what is gonna be your wake up call. And from my experience dealing with patients, they come and tell me stuff, and they're like, "Doc, there's one time you told me this." To be honest, I've forgotten that I said that, but it has stuck with them. I have never had. ChatGPT told me this. Gemini told me this. It's not going to work. And as much as stigma exists, it is our job. We're talking about a problem that we have created. We're not going to wait for other systems to come and solve a problem we have created. If we were corrupt, we'll be the ones who need to undo the corruption. So if we're a stigmatized society, who is supposed to deal with the stigma? That's ourselves. So ask yourself, if you're complaining of stigma, what do you do when your friend comes and tells you that they have been having low moods, they have not showered for 3 days, they have not been eating? What do you do? Are you the first person to say, oh my God, I relate to that, and I'm so sorry that you're going through that? Can we probably see if it's an issue? Are you there to tell them, ayeta wewe, tewe ni mchafu? Skutazo. Yeah, so stigma is a job of me and you, and we have moved so much. We have done so much as professionals as well. I can see many people coming up and trying to demystify it. But I want you to remember, this is the most supreme organ. And if the most supreme organ has a specialist called a psychiatrist and a psychologist, why then would you have a problem going to see a gastroenterologist who is taking care of a secondary organ?
And you ignore.
And you will ignore
Na wengi hata
psychiatrist.
wako na personal coaches,
Ona.
coach wa
Uko na coach wa
training
fitness,
coach.
uko na coach wa
Fitness.
personality, uko na coach wa moods.
Lakini hakuna coach wa mind.
Mind coach ni wa madhare. I am judging y'all.
No, that is what people have known for such a long time.
But things have really changed. You know why the stigma around it exists? As I said, it's the most primary organ. And mental health crisis, sorry to say, at times is ugly, and people at times don't. Unaweza kuwa umegonjeka tumbo na nobody will know. Ama your stomach will hurt and you'll be able to control yourself where to vomit, etc. Sindio? But when you have a mental health challenge, you cannot start or stop the episode. At times it will erupt.
It's distressing because I'm reminded, because I talk a lot about my clients because I feel like sometimes what we see in books versus what we see in reality is different. Yeah. Because somebody is having like palpitations. Your heart is repeatedly. Yes. So you can find that person is fixated on this thing that it's my heart that has a problem. Yeah. So that's where now this distress, it's real. So to somebody, they might think that this person is making up this thing or they are exaggerating. No, it's a real struggle that actually requires real-time assistance and with human support. Let's put it like that. Yeah. Not AI support. No, human support.
I would like to ask, guys, because I think all of us have one time gone to chat. I'm not going to lie, I've been to chat. I wanted to see the experience, man. But
please
but
share.
There's a time when, hey, share. Hey, okay. Well,
can you see your history?
Yeah. Okay, no. I was actually laughing with a friend of mine, and I was telling them that now when I meet people, I want to see, let's see your ChatGPT history, because I feel like that's where everything is. That's where their real side is. Yeah. But I've tried chat, I've tried speaking to it and trying to assess, does it meet the same threshold that I would meet as a therapist? Yeah, and I've realized it's agreeable, okay, unless differently prompted, yeah. And I've also realized that it will give you you'll get tired. Chat will always want to solve problems. And at times, we just don't need problems to be fixed. We need them to just be understood. So it's different when you come and tell somebody, I have been in love with the same person for 16 years, 11 years. I don't know how to get it. Chat will start telling you, should we come up with a mantra to help you get over 11 years? As if it's that easy. But whenever you speak to people, at times, it just listen. They'll just say, and how does that feel? If asked, would you be able to move on from this situation in as much as it hurts you? And they'll just say no. And they'll cry for 10 minutes, and that will be the healing, the start towards their healing, not any solution. So I know for sure, it's a difficult conversation, but at the same time, we don't always speak in the language of impossibilities. Ask yourself, anytime I speak to my friend, but it's anytime I speak to chat, when do I get artificial release and when do I get real release?
The other question is, like, if I'm talking to my friend about an issue I'm having, when should I talk to my friend and when should I talk to a professional? Now, you guys.
So I think that it depends with the level of relationship that you have with that friend, first of all, because I feel like there are some personal struggles that maybe you could share with a friend. They've walked a journey with you, they know you. But I feel like most people, if you talk to a friend about certain aspects, like I'm hearing voices, they may not understand.
Yeah.
Ati ninaona watu wananifukuza. My friend, watasema
block.
Ulienda.
The crazy part is, I was telling Tabby.
So that friend actually will end up scared.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the point where now you talk to a professional. And I wish that friend of yours actually is somebody who has even heard about this thing. Because if they hawajasikia watasema ulienda kwa Illuminati or something like that, or you are bewitched. Yeah. The way people will just label and maybe just undermine struggles and all that.
You were telling me that?
I was talking to Tabby some other day. Then I was telling her, like, oh my God, like someone once told me they can't sleep at night because they keep on seeing like these funny cartoon characters. Then I was like, maybe this person is just dreaming. Lakini, he was saying, Baka, when he's awake, he's seeing them. And at the time, I did not know it's an issue. So like, if I have a friend and the friend is having issues, when is it right to tell them to go see a professional?
Yeah. I always say you can lie to every other person, but you can't lie to yourself. Even your own capacity to handle certain situations. It gets to a point where you're just like, where? do? And when you get to that point, that is exactly the same time you need to refer your friend to a professional. There's some things that are beyond your scope. Now, if someone comes and tells you, let me use that, nafuatwa na mashaito, you feel like telling them, "Twende tukaombewe na pasta," immediately. So there's always that reference to other specialists. So even as a friend, and as much as you want to assist, and we should talk about this again, like in another time, of what are some of the things that maybe affect your mental health you don't know, and it could be a friend's mental health. Okay, so you might not understand how much it digs you, but when you start to feel like this is beyond my capacity, I have tried. The first time I have told them, okay, let's journal, I read a place where we can meditate together, let's go for yoga, and it's probably not working once or twice. The best thing as a friend you can do is not only tell them, let's go to see a professional, walk the journey with them, bring them in for their first appointment, their second. Those are the most difficult for them to go to. And then on the third, you can launch them into the system. They will
bring themselves.
They will want to come in, because human connection cannot be replaced. It cannot be replaced. It's the main reason why the biggest problem we have and the biggest clientele that we have is because of relationship issues. Friendship, spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends. Ushaipata patient ambaye hana hizo issues?
Hakuna. Most of them they have a lot.
Yeah, that will tell you something. Yeah, including our viewers. They might be. I'm not attacking you.
I feel attacked personally.
No, it's just to show how relational we are in nature and why this field cannot be replaced by robots or by artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Okay. So clearly, I do not have OCD. I do not have ADHD. Anxiety. As we wrap up,
there's a clean distinction between fear and anxiety. Okay. And I want you to understand that anxiety comes from the basis of fear. Fear is one of the 6 primary emotions that a human being experiences. And I want to tell you something funny about our brain. We experience 6 primary emotions according to Paul Ekman's theory. And it says 1, it's sadness. 2, it's anger. 3 is fear. 4 is disgust. 5 is happiness. And 6 is surprise. Out of those 6, 4.5 are negative emotions. So we'll have anger, we'll have disgust, we'll have fear, we'll have surprise ni 0.5. Kwa sababu unaweza surprise ufurahi, no surprise ukufe. So those are 2 different sides of the coin. So only happiness and 0.5 ya surprise are positive emotions. So if let's go back to mathematics, mwalimu wa math, what would you say about that probability? Does the brain goes toward the negative or the positive by default?
negative.
The negative. So fear is a primary emotion. And because our mind is ingrained on the negative, at times our negative emotions are heightened. Now, when it is extremely heightened, fear becomes anxiety. But for us to diagnose you with an anxiety or an anxious disorder, we have to see, again, we come back to impairment of function. Hii fear inafanya usifanye nini? Does it make you be afraid of injections? That utapiga nduru hospitali? Does it mean that you will never pass through a bridge in your life? Nieti ukavuke highway kuliko upitie heights. Does it mean in certain rooms, ukiekwa na daktari kwa consultation room, so you're sweating, palpitating, are you unable to do exams? Are you unable to even sit at your desk or write an appraisal for yourself? When we see impairment of function, that it is fear that is irrational, and it is fear that is not correctable by just, a conversation or an understanding that naogopa tu hii situation. Kama kuogopa public speaking, then that is anxiety. Yeah.
So for me, I would say maybe as we conclude, because we cannot put this diagnosis like OCD, depression, anxiety, and just maybe work with them like labels. We have to understand that these are real mental health conditions. And let me tell you, That's why I'm saying that not every struggle is equals to a diagnosis. Because by the time you're even being diagnosed with that thing, it's already, it's a big thing.
Big deal.
Yeah, somebody being diagnosed with bipolar, it's not an easy thing. First of all, to even accept it. So how can we go now labeling and even just saying that it's my OCD, it's this? No.
And the repercussions.
My ADHD.
It's my ADHD. So,
And why don't they say it's my schizophrenia?
by the way, and it is not my bipolar.
It is not my bipolar and it is not my
Because it
schizophrenia.
looks cute, like
My
ADHD.
My
ADHD. We have
ADHD.
romanticized
But
mental
let me
health.
tell you, people who are having real ADHD, it's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
It's a condition. That's why we are saying
I want
that.
you to imagine they have like 1,000 tabs open at the same time and they're processing at the same speed, at times too fast, at times too low. I want you to imagine they can get into a room like this and there's blue light, green light, and they cannot be able to just be grounded because the head is a green, blue, red, blue. So it's beyond.
And some of us now will continue in that wave. It's my ADHD. And maybe probably you have actually real ADHD. Or maybe some of them now will not even seek help. Because already now they are seeking
It's
it.
a personality
It's a
trait.
personality trait.
Women have a group.
So, one thing, our message to our viewers maybe, if you're having these issues, symptoms, come to us.
Yeah.
We are here for you, and that's why we've gone to school, by the way. And we're able to sit down with you. We are able to do a diagnosis and treatment if it's warranted. That is. Yeah.
And read a lot. But also when you read, remember that every article, every knowledge requires professional interpretation. So even if you go and today you read that DSM-5 that we're telling you we use as the criteria, and you relate to all of them, still it's not evidence enough that you have it. You need to hear it from somebody who has seen thousands of bipolar patients, thousands of anxiety prone patients, and then from there you're going to get help. So unmarry that trend. Wachana nayo. It's a toxic relationship.
Stop shouting at me.
Nita shout.
Stop shouting at
We are
me.
pruning and muting
It's making
conversations.
it's making your experience of the world quite sad. Yeah. So just give it a permanent talaka and go see a professional.
Permanent talaka.
I actually feel I have been properly schooled. So I have left the OCD and the ADHD groups, honestly. And I hope you have too. Yeah, so go ahead and tell us, what had you diagnosed yourself with? Because like me, Nikama, I am staying back for an assessment after this. Yeah, so tell us in the comment section. What would you like to add, Daksashi?
I think it's just summarizing that don't equate or maybe every struggle to a certain diagnosis. Because number one, you don't know how it feels to actually live with ADHD.
Yeah.
You don't know how it feels to have OCD. So number one, let's seek help and let's normalize that. Yes.
You want to add something, Charlie?
No, I think I said enough.
Enough is enough.
I think I said enough. They should just, keep the questions coming. Let us understand what your perspective is. Like, share, comment, tell your friend, tell a friend. As a matter of fact, we would love to see you bring up this conversation more as opposed to the 5 signs that you have ADHD. 5 signs that you do not actually have ADHD is my parting shot.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you for undiagnosing me, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Pay my consultation fees. Bye.